So, welcome to Wednesday, July 27th, Community Breathing Intention Release. I'm Michele and I'm going to teach the beginning sort of warm-up series for Yoga Narada, which is a kind of yoga that's really made with continuous flow of movement and dancers in mind. So, next week, I'm going to start teaching another round with the American Ballet Theater students. And today, which I haven't done yet, I usually focus this class on a very generalized beginner form of moving. But today, I'm going to do this more in line with what I do with the dancer students, okay? If you feel comfortable with everything, fine. But if you don't feel comfortable, you can just watch along. And if you're already practicing this, it might not seem too different. Most of the cues for dance are a little bit more related to your expression as an artist and your aesthetic with your lines and how to originate connection from into the expression, right? So some people find this more naturally than others, and some people need a little bit more. We need training and direction. So today's class is going to be very similar to what we do with dancers. So I'm going to sort of tag this for a dancer warm-up. So that means we're going to start on the floor. We'll start seated. And like I said, if you're already practicing this, it's probably going to feel more familiar. And, like I said, do not do anything that you're not comfortable with, but we're going to keep it moving today. So we're going to cross the feet, relax into the floor, find your sits bones. You can do a little shifting side to side to relax the sits bones into the floor. And then just feeling a sense of length through the low back, through the tail. We're going to relax the arms, let them hang over the knees, relax through your jaw and your chin. And we're just going to let the eyes close and let the breath drop down into the base of the spine, the base of the pelvis, right? So we want to feel a sense of gravity releasing internally with our breath. We're going along with the natural forces, feeling that we just drop and release, softening any tension through the jaw and the chin, through the back of the neck and shoulders. Start to let your breath drop down, releasing into the floor, letting go of any tension you feel in your legs and your thighs here. Start to bring your focus internally into yourself, letting go of any external thoughts or tensions. Start to notice your breath deepening here. So we want to let the breath come in and take a long released exhale. So letting the breath out. And just noticing if you're holding your breath, right? So like I said, a lot of dancers, we like to hold our breath as a way to feel that when we are engaging more effort, but it's the opposite. We want to use the release of breath to let the flow come through, let the momentum come through. And then we're going to gently open the eyes, take the palms together, drawing your breath up into your hands, gently gliding forward and back. We're letting the breath come up into our palms, bringing the energy up into our hands, sliding in between the fingers here. Breathing into that. And then once we've drawn a little bit more energy up, we're going to separate the hands, feeling the energy between our palms. Let that energy push your palms out into the space around you. So we're just sort of yawning and breathing and moving into the space all around, feeling that we can expand and connect from the inside to the outside, feeling the breath move us up above, down below, around the sides and behind you, feeling that you're breathing through the back of your body. And then we're going to reach out, gathering energy from the space around through the palms, sense that over the face and eyes, and just breathe and wash that over your face and eyes, releasing, letting the face open, letting that sense of calm wash over your face, and then taking your middle fingers right into the brow bone. We're going to exhale and massage in and up, around with a little lift up into the hairline. So we're going to use a nice exhale to carve open above the eyes, releasing into the forehead, feeling that sense of release and calmness from the center moving out. And then underneath the eyes, using our index fingers, we're going to sweep under the eyes along your orbital bone up into the hairline again, using the breath. A nice exhale, and breath brings you through and around and up. And then we'll take our fingertips into the forehead, just scrubbing up and down, moving the skin lightly, scrubbing and moving the lymph underneath the skin, opening things up so we don't have tension in our face. We're going to gently move around to the outside of the eyes, the temples, very, very lightly. Do not press in here. We're going to just move around the skin in a nice circular fashion. And then continue to move down, relaxing the jaw in between the upper and lower jaw. So you can poke a little bit more, moving around, breathing into that, getting a nice release of tension. Of course, in dance, we always hold tension here, right? This is a big one. And then we're going to come up above the ears into the scalp, a nice little scrubbing, lifting motion, going all around the ears in an upward fashion, releasing any tension from the bottom of the head, and we're coming around to the back until we've reached the very, very top of the neck. So where the head and neck meet, we're going to just massage into that space, that little crevice there, the occipital, breathing that open, feeling a sense of length through the neck, taller. And then coming back in close to the spine, we're going to take some circular motions, massaging down the back of the neck, releasing any tension you feel here, making our way down the neck into the tops of the shoulders. So once we've gotten to the tops of the shoulders, we're going to dig our fingers over top and breathe out, sweeping over, releasing, and just shaking off with the palms here, and then going back again. So we're going to exhale, breathe out, release any tension and tightness, and shake it off. And again, going back. And exhale to let it go and shake it away. And now, interlacing the fingers, find that lift down below from the base of the spine. We're going to inhale, breathe in and up along the spine to lengthen your body, reaching through the arms, reaching through the palms, and then just wiggling up out of your hips, releasing out of your low back and tail, sort of unplugging any tension you feel into the lower back, getting your chest to lift up off of your pelvis a little bit. And then we're going to come back through the center, relaxing the tail under. Let the arms drape down in front here, relaxing and swaying around in a circle. So we're going to inhale, breathe through the elbow up. And we go over, exhale, breathing through the ribs. We're going to circle forward and around and down. As we come up, feel the tail of the spine reach down to send your chest up. Again, we're using gravity. We're moving with the force of gravity to get a nice lengthening. We have to find the roots down to go up. And exhale over, around, and forward. So we're just massaging in between our shoulder blades through our scapula, letting the shoulder blades move around the back of the ribs like a pivoting, breathing forward and around. We're going to inhale, find that long tail up, take a new breath, and exhale, change to the other side and forward and around. Inhale through the elbow, breathing in between the ribs up, and exhale over, forward and around. Inhale through the elbow, breathing in between that space of the ribs, and again, over and forward and around. Inhale around and up, finding that long tail to lift you up inside, to reach up through the palms nice and tall. Keeping that lift internally, we're going to separate the hands and then just circle the wrist and fingers, breathing the chest open. Let the arms come around into a nice draping, hanging open, release from the center of the chest, and then just relax there. So now from here, we're going to bring our feet out in front. And we're just going to bend one knee. Your knee can hang off to the side, flexing this foot. This other hand's behind us. We're going to reach and lift up over the tail. This back palm is helping you lift and open the chest, hanging in the shoulder blade. And we're going to roll through the foot, heel, ball of the foot, toes, and release and change. So we're going to yawn to the other side. Inhale up and rolling through the foot. Find your toes and release. And again, breath comes in and rolling through and toes and release. Again, breath brings you up and rolling through and release. And one more time on each side, up and rolling through the foot and release. Again, breath brings you up and rolling through. Now both arms go up and we're going to circle again, wrists and ankles. Breathing and circling around. We're making our way around and down to hang all the way over our legs on the floor here. So relaxing in the hips and the low back. Make sure you're not holding tension. Relax your arms, relax your head over. And just breathe out with the weight of your head dropping a little bit. We're going to exhale through the nose and drop through the head, getting a nice little release through the upper back and the neck, all the way down through the tail, letting the jaw go, letting that release through the upper shoulders come through. And then just hanging and breathing normally, we're going to sway from side to side. Let the weight of your head guide your sway here. So your head moves and that flushes through the back, breathing through the back of the ribs. We're going to let this trickle into a bigger sway. So we're getting more momentum by dragging and shifting from one side to the other. Shifting in the hip, feeling that the sits bone drops down. And we're rocking on our sits bones here. You want to use the breath through your abdomen. Your low belly is going to lift your hip up and walk backwards and lift and walk backwards. Using the breath and the connection in your center, your low abdomen here. You're walking along the floor from your hips. We want to get a little bit of movement in the low back and the sacrum in this lateral motion. And then we're going to come forward, up and over, and drop the leg out. Now we're using our sits bones like feet a little bit more to push up and over and step and up and over. The one pushing down has a little bit more effort to lift the other side up. And then we're going to just hang over, breathing out, relaxing the head. Feel that your tail draws down through the floor as the breath comes in, rolling up through the spine. Feeling your abdomen lengthen in and up along the spine, especially the low abdomen as you get all the way up. Feel the release of your tail down as much as you can at the end to lift up, and then just relax. So you're getting taller, not by trying to pull your chest up and crunch your back, right? So you have to push down into the floor to lift your body up. And then we're going to scoop, relax this, round your tail under. We're going to drum into the sacrum, breathing out, getting all around the sacroiliac, into your glutes a little bit here, going out to the sides. We're going to go up the sides of the spine, breathing and shifting all the way up into the ribs and back down again, getting that nice release, making sure we're not holding tension here. And then we're going to come into the back sides of the hips, the greater trochanters, and just kind of bounce your hands off of the sides of your hips. Breathing out, getting a nice release, shaking off the bone. And then we're going to alternate. So we're going from the back of the hip and sending any tension and tightness down and out into our feet, out through our feet here. Breathing into that. So we're moving a little bit quicker here. If you guys are just joining us, we're doing this more in line with what I do with dancers, right? So I usually cater this to really beginner, people who might not, are just starting to move. But today we're getting into our dancer mode. We're going to kind of finish the rest of the summer, maybe a good portion of August with this. And then we're going to fluff up around the sides of the legs, just getting a nice little release, shaking off the bone. And it doesn't have to be for dancers. It's for anyone who is athletic, right? So you can use this as a nice little warm up. The pace is faster because we want to get things going, right? Because if we're moving at that level, we have to get things going. We're going to come down into the tops of our knees. So right at the bottom of our quads, we're fluffing up above the knees. Go all around to the insides. and then around to the outsides. And then taking your fingertips tips to tap right into the kneecaps here, feeling that nice vibration into the joint, waking up the nerves to wake up our muscles, right? It all starts with vibration, sound and vibration. Travel down the shin bones all the way to your ankles, tapping, waking up the lower legs into your feet, tapping back up the shins again. And then we're going to lean back, use the heels of your hands to flush down through the quads, from your hips all the way into the knees. So you're getting a nice release. Give a really good amount of pressure here, lengthening, going a little bit to the outside, a little bit to the inside. And then coming down into the outside of the calves, we're going to fluff it up again. So we're just bouncing the palms off of the outside of the calves, the peroneals, feeling that we're kind of loosening this up in case there's any tension holding on, and kind of playing around with our knee and ankle alignment, right? So I'm going to make sure this is nice and pliable as much as it should be. And then we're going to just relax, bringing the knees back. So now, just bringing your feet back in, we're letting the knees hang. Use the tops of your hands to flush down through the inner thighs, releasing and lengthening, getting that sense of letting go from the inner thigh groin area. So these are our adductors. We're going to travel down these inner thigh lines towards our knees, breathing out, lengthening down with gravity, in the direction of gravity, which is also the direction of our circulation, right? So it goes away from our heart. Now we're going to flex through the heels and drop into our calves, breathing out, finding that nice release. And again, we're going a little bit more quick with our pace. If you feel tight or sore here, you can go lighter with a little bit less force, but do what feels good to you. But you want to really get things moving, breathing out. Let's get into the lower calves and the Achilles, just kind of tapping around through there, letting things go. And then we're going to take our hands back behind and give a really good shake out through the legs along the floor. Nice little shift in the hips and shoulders, making sure you're not holding tension. We're going to bring one knee up, take a deep breath in, start your exhale, connecting through the abdomen, and then let it go and change up. Starting the exhale, and again, and letting it go, and up, and releasing, and again, and feeling that length behind the knee. You're not trying to push your knee into the floor. And then here, just relaxing, we're going to exhale. A quicker, a little bit more robust tapping today. So we're going to use the breath, tap and let go. And again, like a little explosion. And again. So we want to get that really quick engagement from the center all the way down to the ends of our toes. And again. And then we're going to bring the feet in. So now we're rolling through the feet, circling through the ankles here, moving the ankles around, letting everything kind of loosen up. Let's relax our feet on the floor and just take a nice massage into the inside ankle heel area. And you can really dig through here, loosening up, getting some space between all of the tightness in the ankles and the tendons, flushing things through. And then continuing underneath the soles of the feet. So we want to really massage and move around into our arches. Have a little froggy throat today because I had to teach with a mask all day yesterday. So that always happens. We're going to go underneath the toes and then just kind of fleshing through, mushing around to your heels. And then we're working back up into the balls of the feet. So we want to go underneath into the balls of the feet, just kind of mushing around. If you dig your fingers like a little claw underneath your toes on the balls of your feet, you'll feel that your toes move, right? So they point and they flex. They're actually sort of mobilizing them a little bit. And then do the opposite where you hold space in between the toes and hold that space open like a nice webbing. Breathing open and relaxing your feet as you breathe the toes open wider. Gently release the palms. We're going to take the hands back behind us on the floor. So now we're squeezing the legs together from the outside of the hips, right? So your hands are behind, a nice little curl under through your tail. So your tail sweeps under with a nice little scoop in the belly to support that length of the tail. We're going to exhale, squeeze and walk, rolling through the feet. Use your toes to dome the feet up and feel the breath connection from your center all the way down and out through the toes. We're going to exhale and walk and feel the toes spread out, reaching like little tentacles. When you get too far away, reverse with your toes starting. Breathe into the floor to drag your feet back along the floor. So your heels are dragging through the feet, opening through the toes. Relax the balls of your feet. If your heels drop and your toes pick up, you're putting too much pressure into the balls of your feet. You're over-activating your arches. We want to release the arches so that they can activate better another way. We're going to go forward again. Exhale. Breathe. Melt the arches into the floor in this direction too. Try not to over-arch, right? We're trying not to overextend. We want to make sure they're nice and soft and pliable so that the ankles can move and breathe. And that's what gives us a strong foot. We're just going to relax, shake the legs out here. Let's bring the feet back in, folding. We're going to lift the chest up. Nice little happy hamster, breathing into the chest, lifting up, moving around. And exhale, release. And again, expanding the chest. And releasing, flushing through the lymph, getting all around through the chest. Now let's come down into the front of the hips and just flush through the lymph here. And then we're going to come up right into the center of the chest, just breathing out and scrubbing up and down, getting rid of any tension you're holding on to, and taking nice long strokes down from the ribs, underneath the sides of the ribs into your hips and pelvis, and then sweeping through the center, going around and under the other side, and then coming back through center and just feeling the arms and the shoulders relax and let go. We're going to hang the head, take your opposite hand and massage into the front of the shoulder and just kind of move around. Again, we're kind of flushing through the lymph here, but also looking for any tension or tightness that's holding on and just releasing. You can move your head a little bit and changing to the other side, moving around, breathing out, letting the head hang over, getting a nice flush through here. And then using the breath, we're going to exhale, drop the palm up and over, breathing and releasing, feeling that nice bouncing off of the tops of our shoulders, letting the breath get into the upper back and upper ribs, feeling that release of the shoulder dropping down, tension letting go in the head and the neck. And then relaxing, we're going to let the tail release under. Find that breath from down low. Inhale, drawing the breath and lift your body up. We're going to lift and sustain. Then we exhale, letting the arms go, throwing them down and out. So we feel a nice release down and out with gravity. Now we're going to let the breath come in. Breath draws you up, lifting off of your seat. Keep this lift in suspension and release the arms. And then soften the tail. One more time. Draw the breath in and up. So as you draw that internal connection, that's what lengthens and lifts you up. We keep that as we release. Now we're going to shake it all out. Relaxing through the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, getting a nice breath release. Try not to hold your breath. Releasing through the upper back, the elbows, the wrists, the fingers, all the way down to feel that nice little freeing up shake and feeling that nice little fuzziness come down into our fingertips here. And then from here, finding that sense of openness right from the center of the chest, right? So again, since I'm relating this more to dancers, in every position that we find, we want to feel open and connected from that internal place. So each little finger, relaxing the shoulders. We're going to wiggle that nerve line open. Exhale, find the breath from the center of the sternum, and exhale, release the arms out from the sternum. So we want to feel a sense like a bird floating up and opening wide. We don't want to feel like we're karate chopping back behind us, right? So I mean, even if you just look at it, right? What would you want to feel that you're connected with if you were watching someone do this? The reason why we like it when we see it is because we connect internally in ourselves with it. So we want to use the breath and feel that floating and lifting open. Feel that the breath comes from your pelvis. So that's the one thing we all have in common. It doesn't matter if you're watching a performance and you don't know anything about what they're doing, you still can breathe. So as humans, if someone has a release or a change in their breath, we notice it, right? And that's what we connect with, and that's what really good artists know how to use. And then we're going to change. I feel like even, studio art painters, you can see the breath in paintings, breathing through this. See if you can find breath impetus from each finger. So the breath is what opens your chest and arms. And then relaxing, taking your fingers together and just kind of mushing around, moving the heels of the hands forward and back. And then relaxing through the wrist, we're going to glide around. Release and relax the tension in your shoulders and just let the breath come through, letting this go. And then we're going to reverse it, coming back the other way, letting the release of the shoulders and the wrists come through in the opposite direction that feels natural to us. And then we're going to open the palms and just breathe open and close. Feel that sense of opening your fingers from the center of your hand out, right? So we're not pinging through the fingers. That pulls tension into the palm. The palm breathes the fingers open. And now we're going to use that sense of breath connection into the center from down low in the pelvis. We're going to inhale, expand the body through and up. We're going to take a long squeezing exhale, squeeze out through the breath, scoop through the low belly, squeeze through the fingertips, the toes, the eyes. Keep breathing out, breathing out, breathing out, breathing out until you don't have any more breath left. Letting the breath in. The breath expands your body out and up. The exhale pulls it in, gives you that connection. You can use a focus of squeezing out anything negative, physical or emotional. Push it out of your body with your breath, making space for new energy. Letting the breath in. And one more time, squeezing it out. Letting the breath in on this last one. We're going to exhale, but gather that light new energy through the fingertips and toes. Draw that through the nerve lines into your center, enveloping that new energy into yourself. And just letting go, releasing of anything that was holding on that was left. Let's come all the way up into the top of the neck and the head, just doing a nice little scrubbing, lifting motion through the very, very top of the neck into the head, feeling nice and tall. We're going to interlace the fingers, rest the head into your palms, and breathe into the hands. Feel that length through the back of the body, sweeping the palms up and out, around and down. Finding that sense of length internally all the way up and out. We're going to use the eyes and the breath to just look around the room, scanning the room, looking around, seeing every little detail, breathing and lengthening internally. And then once you get to the side, scan the room to move around the other way, breathing and just looking around the room, feeling that nice sense of openness, curiosity, looking into the space around you. And again, finding the breath, feeling that sense of connection inside, expanding your vision outside, feeling nice and calm and relaxed as your vision expands, feeling that You're looking out beyond the space you're in, beyond the walls, out into the really far distance here. And then let the breath move you through that again. Feeling a nice sense of grounding as you connect into a really far distance, all the way out. And then the breath brings you back through center. As we come back through center, we're going to take a deep breath in, draw the breath up from the base of the pelvis. Inhale, pull that breath up and squeeze your eyes shut without clenching your shoulders up. So we're going to inhale, pull it up. And exhale, as the breath releases, gently open the eyes. And then just sweep around the face and eyes. You can blink your eyes a little bit and just opening any little extra energetic cobwebs that are hanging around there. We're going to take the fingers and just tap all around the skull, breathing into this and taking a nice little vibration into the head, just like we did into our legs, sweeping up through the back of the neck and head, feeling that tallness. Now, if you're new to this and not comfortable with moving your head side to side, you might want to watch this first, but we're feeling the very top of the spine turn and release through the eyes and releasing through the jaw. So we're going to do, and like I said, I'm focusing this on dancers, so we need to do this for spotting, right? So we don't want to feel that we're poking our chin out when we spot and turn. We want to feel that we're into ourselves and we're just looking and looking and looking and looking, and it just goes and goes and goes. So use your breath. Try to release your breath. Start off looking side to side. First of all, start slow. Notice if you have any tension just here. Feel if your shoulders are tensing up. Try to spot side and side, and side and side, and side and side. Relax your jaw and your chin. Feel a connection into your center, into your spine. Keep focusing on your center. Let your breath go more and let it release if you feel comfortable. And your eyes lose the spot a little bit, but you're keeping the connection, and just let it slow down gently to stop finally. Right. So instead, and you can also, if you video yourself, you'll see what your head's doing. If I can't see people, but sometimes your head starts going out in different directions, and that's going to pull you off your center if you're turning for sure. So we're going to come around onto hands and knees, finding that position onto our hands and knees, shoulders and hips. And we're just going to take one foot back, tucking your toes under. Find that nice, be careful of where your tail is here. If your tail is pulling up or your back feels tight, or it's your foot. So relax into your heel, glide the heel back a little bit, drop your tail down, feel that internal lift through the midline, and glide the foot away, releasing your tail in the direction of your heel to breathe into your knee and your hip. Bring this foot back in. We're going to change. Finding that lift through center, exhale, gliding back and bringing this foot in. So as we're stretching, we're connecting internally and bring the foot back in. That was too much for Belle. And exhale, gliding back. And foot comes in. And lifting up, feeling a sense of center, feeling a sense of your center in your body as you reach away from it. And then change. And again, light, nice and long from the tail. So we feel that sense of length in the front of the hip and behind the knee, just like we want to feel while we're lifting our legs and dancing, développé. It's a stretch. Now from here, we're going to tuck the toes under. The heels are a little bit touching. We're going to bring the palms back and push back over our heels. So we're kind of hanging the tail. We're in this little squatting position, hanging the arms over the knees. Your knees can separate a little bit. Drop your heels into the floor, even on the floor if you're able to. And we're just going to breathe out. You can do a little bit of shifting using your palms to breathe the soles of your feet open. We're going to take the hands really close to the toes, taking a deep breath. As you exhale, scoop the belly and push the floor away and stretch through the legs. We're going to hang the body over the legs here. And you can just shake the legs out, releasing in the hips and the back. Feel that your tail drops over your heels. If you're not balanced over your heels, you might be a little bit more forward. Drop into your heels, bend your right knee, hang over the right knee, and shift your body weight down into that straight leg, hip, and heel. We're going to exhale, scoop the belly, and curl the head up to look at your navel. Relax and change. So we're just bending the knee to hang over it and scooping. Feel your tail go down that straight leg, hip, and heel as you curl up and release and change. So we feel that nice little coiling, scooping and connecting, feeling a sense of release into that lower back hip, a little bit of a diagonal here, a little spiral, and scooping. Tail goes down the straight leg heel and coming back through center. Now from here, hanging over center, we want to find our tail dropping back in plumb line with the heels. We're going to lift the upper belly to the ceiling as we inhale. We're going to inhale, lift the belly up to let the tail drop down, to roll your body up to standing. Feeling that length of the tail down and lift inside to come up. Feeling that nice loop energy internally lifting you up as your tail lengthens down. So now from here, we're going to come into our center and find the breath. We're going to feel a nice sense. First of all, if your feet are comfortably together, that's fine. You can separate your feet if it doesn't feel right if you don't feel connected in your hips and your back and your abdomen. So feel that you can lengthen through the low back, through the tail down to the floor. Fingertips are going to touch your low belly here. We want to feel a sense of lifting inside, just like we did on the floor. As we sip breath through the mouth, like we're sipping through a straw, we want to feel an internal connectivity right through the center midline of our body, right? That's where our midline is. We're going to sip in and up along the spine, along the midline, inside with not any tension pulling with us on the outside. We're releasing the tail down and out. So relax the shoulders. Your fingertips are here as an observer. We want to feel, you can even push in a little bit to give a little reminder to spark the breath. So we're going to feel that sense of plumb line draw down into the heels, into the feet. As we start to sip the breath up, push your heels down a little bit into the floor, just to get a little impetus. Suspend it. We're going to exhale, deepen it where your fingers are. Push in a little more and slightly bend the knees to feel that lift inside. And then stretching, find your heels, pushing down to sip up. And exhale. And again, sipping in and up. This is what we call lifting up, right? And exhale. One more time, sipping in and up. And exhale. Now we're going to relax the arms down. Finding this breath, we're going to float the arms around and up, sipping. And deepening the breath, exhale. And release down, finding the breath, sipping in and up again. Feel like your arms come from your pelvis and exhale. exhale. One more time, sipping in and up. And suspending, exhale. Now from here, we're just going to lengthen the legs up. Feel that lengthening down from the tail through the heels. Let's just do a little amba position here. We're going to reach down and find your little turn out first position. We're going to sip the breath up and bring the arms through first all the way up into fifth. So we're going up into elevate here. So we're going to sip the breath from the base of the pelvis, pushing down through the floor to elevate, up. First, keep finding that length down to come all the way up into fifth. And as we exhale, suspend it. And just release the arms all the way down. And you can just take a nice little relaxed plie out of that and then stretch. So we can do more of that kind of stuff. So relaxing here, relax your shoulders and just take a nice little walk out, releasing. Good. Okay, so next week, I have to do this class earlier. I have to do it at 10 a.m. my time because I'm going to start teaching another workshop with ABT. So I'm going to do that for 2 weeks. So the next two classes I'm going to do at 10 o'clock Eastern time, and then I'll go back to 12 o'clock. And these next couple weeks also, I'm going to focus on a dancer warm-up. So for all the dancers out there, because like I said, I teach this class to dancers, and I just started to do it for sort of everybody who wants to move. But I think I can focus it towards dancers, and that will be okay. So for any dancers out there that have a special request of something you want to work on, please write a comment or let me know. And, maybe we'll do a little bit more stretching and hip alignment stuff. It's a short class, but if anyone's interested in doing a weekly dancer class, I'm also open to that. So have a wonderful summer week, even if it's hot. And take care, everybody. I'll see you next week, either live at 10 my time or whenever your time. Thank you.